Yo, what is up? You already know what it is. The best damn sports podcast, period. You know what it is. The hottest sports podcast in the South, Sentell. Live on Facebook. I'm your host, the sensational Sentell Wyman. Got a great show today. Lots to get into. NBA playoffs are set. We'll dive into some of the matchups in just a few minutes. Also, the reason why you're really here, because I unveil my first ever mock draft. My first ever mock 1 through 32. I will give you those in just a little bit. Speaking of mock drafts, let me announce that the fantasy fan mock draft that's presented by my cousin Kiwi Dennis. This is the third year we'll be doing it. It's on Facebook. And basically, for a day, for a whole entire first round, you get to be your team's GM and draft the player that you want based on the draft order. So if you are a Browns fan, which I don't know many or know any to speak of, that's the whole point. So you get your team, you pick for your team. So normally we don't have enough people to fill out the spot. So I encourage you guys to, if you know some people who are fans of certain teams, to inbox me or Kiwi Dennis or anybody else in the group. Let us know so you can be a part of the third annual fantasy fan mock draft. If you go on the page, I'm sure you can look up the previous 2 years we've done it. Really great. Again, it's hard to get all 32 teams represented. But this year we're going to try to get all 32 teams represented as best we can. So there you go. Go sign up for the fantasy fan mock draft presented by Kiwi Dennis. Just inbox him for the information and get into the closed group. And then, hey, you get to be your team's GM for a whole day. So that should be fun. Looking forward to that. Again, welcome into the show. Hey, I'm going to do my mock draft in a few minutes, but the NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward. I'm looking so forward to these NBA playoffs. They're going to be really, 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 really good, especially in the Western Conference. But I think overall the playoffs are just going to be fantastic. They start Saturday. Should be some great series. I expect some really good. And I mean, and this is really where I start watching NBA. I start watching right after the All-Star break, but playoff time is where it's really high level, high quality basketball at its best, at its finest. And I'm so looking forward to, it's a ton of great series. And I'll go through the East and then I'll go through the Western Conference matchups. Then I get into some of the matchups I'm particularly looking forward to in this year's NBA playoffs. In the East, the number one seed is the Toronto Raptors. They went 59-23, had a great season. At the 8th seed is the Washington Wizards, 43-39, kind of a mixed bag this season. John Wall was out doing at points of the season. He was out, so Washington is at the 8th seed. Your 4 and 5 matchup is an interesting matchup because I'm sure no one thought Cleveland would be a 4 seed, but given the trades and how the season started, 4 is okay, but that seed don't really matter. They're playing the Pacers, who are one of the most surprised teams in the NBA this year. Most people thought once they traded Paul George away that they were destined to be in the lottery, but here they are, the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. So that's the Cavs and the Pacers, 4-5. 3-6 is the surprise team in the Eastern Conference. I had them in the playoffs, definitely not the 3 seed, but I have them in the playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers, who have won 16 games in a row. They are by far the hottest team in the playoffs, 76ers. On the 6th seed, the Miami Heat, they had a record of 44-38. And the 2 seeds, the Celtics, 55-27 against the Milwaukee Bucks, who are 44-38. I'll go through some of the series, the individual matchups, the season series breakdown. The Wizards and Raptors played, and they split this series 2-2. The Cavs and Pacers, the Pacers actually took 3 or 4 from the Cavs in the regular season. The Heat and Sixers split their season matchups 2-2, and the Celtics and the Bucks split their series 2-2. I should also mention that the Celtics are 2 seed, but they are in a lot of trouble. Kyrie is out for the whole entire playoffs. They had already lost Gordon Hayward early in the season. The backup point guard, I can't think of his name right offhand. He's kind of banged up. So Celtics struggling right now. Even though they're a 2 seed, I don't see a whole. I thought they could beat Minnesota. I thought they could beat Milwaukee. I don't trust Milwaukee at all. But that series is gonna be a whole lot tougher now that Kyrie's out. So I can see the Celtics getting bounced in the first round. Over in the West, they want to see this the Rockets 65-17. Outstanding season. Mike D'Antoni, James Harden, Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, Trevor Ariza, Ryan Anderson, Bayamute. They got a lot of dudes. They was outstanding this year. But hey, they have a lot to be determined, a lot to be desired for the Rockets. This D'Antoni's had success in regular seasons. Chris Paul's had regular season success. James Harden has regular season success. We all know that what they do in the postseason would make or break their season. So 65-17, best record in the league. They're playing the T-Wolves, who the 8th seed, who got in last night by defeating Denver Nuggets in an overtime game, which was basically a play-in game, and they survived the Nuggets last night. Interesting seed, the T-Wolves. I thought they would be a little bit better. Jimmy Butler has missed part of some of the season. So, interesting matchup there. The 4-5 should be a really good series. The Thunder versus the Jazz. OKC starting to come together, starting to get it, starting a little bit better. Russ is playing better as of late. Still, I don't know what to make of them. When Russ is going good, and you got Paul George, they can do some damage. Utah, which is definitely a surprise team, after losing Gordon Hayward, Rodney Hood, George Hill, Joe Johnson. I mean, most people thought this team would definitely not make the playoffs and to be a 5 seed. And a lot of that has to do with their outstanding rookie point guard, Donovan Mitchell, which is more of a 2 guard, but he's been outstanding. So the Jazz are your 5 seed. The 3-6 matchup is Blazers and Pelicans. The Blazers are 49-33. The Pelicans were 48-34. So, a 1-game differential. So, that's how tough the West was this year. Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum. That should be a really good series. Anthony Davis. Looking forward to seeing Anthony Davis in the playoffs again for the first time. Probably 3 or 4 years. He hasn't made the playoffs. So, be interesting to see how he does in the playoffs. And the most intriguing matchup to me, and to me, it's the 2 and the 7, the Warriors versus the Spurs. But so many things have transpired in this series that makes it a whole lot different than you would think. 2 stars are out. Steph Curry is out. Kawhi Leonard has been out the majority of the season, even though he's been cleared by San Antonio personnel. He hasn't played the majority of the season. And then the Warriors have been an absolute mess of late without Steph Curry. They've lost their last 10 out of 17 games and have not looked good at all. I don't know how much the Spurs can challenge them, even without Curry. But I'm looking forward to that series because I mean I want to see what the Warriors are gonna do. I want to see what Kevin Durant's gonna do, be having to carry the load and be the man. Because to me, he's more of a co-star, not a star type player. And if you watch the last 17 games, now they could have been. Now, granted, they could have been bored, obviously, just trying to get to the playoffs, long season. But I don't see Kevin Durant as an alpha. I've never seen him as a the leader, the get on my back type player and carry a team. And that's what he's having to do right now without Steph Curry. There's nobody to pass the buck to. It's all on his shoulders for us carrying that load, being the playmaker, having to score the basketball and all those different things that he's asked to be doing right now. And he's not handled it very well. Like I said, the team's lost their last 10 out of 17 games. And a lot of those wins were against really bad Western Conference teams, Suns, Kings. But everybody who was good, they've lost to within the last month and a half. So be interesting. I'm looking forward to that Warriors Spurs. Definitely looking forward to the Warriors Spurs series for sure. I open the phone lines up if you want to talk about the NBA playoffs. You got some matchups which you're looking forward to the most. A lot of storylines in the East. Obviously, LeBron trying to get to his 8th straight final, which is it's remarkable and just not even. I don't even know how to even quantify that. I mean, to go to 8 straight finals is just ridiculous. Sixers the upstart. 16-game winning streak right now. Celtics, no Kyrie. Raptors is the number 1 seed, but nobody really believes in them. But these playoffs should be very, very, very exciting, very entertaining at the least. Looking forward to that. The Rockets and the T-Wolves. Thought the T-Wolves would be a little bit better. But they're going to cause some problems from Houston, even though Houston took all 4 games in the regular season. But only one of those games Jimmy Butler has to play in. The Thunder did beat the Jazz 3 out of 4 times. The Blazers and Pelicans split 2-2. And the Warriors took 3 out of 4 from San Antonio. So there you go. That's your NBA playoff. If you want to discuss the NBA playoffs, what's catching your eye, getting your attention, lines open now. 864-378-5943, 378-5943. If you want to talk NBA playoffs, which begin on Saturday. So, should be good. I look forward to it. And before I get too far into it, let me drink some water because I'm about to get into this, my first ever mock draft, a whole first round mock draft. I've never done it. So I'm about to get into it in just a few seconds because I don't see nobody right now commenting on the playoffs. So I'll get into my mock draft. All right. First ever Sentell mock draft coming straight at you. let's get into it. All right. Let's get to this mock draft. Like I said, my first ever mock draft I've ever done. From 1 to 32, I'm gonna give you what I think the teams are gonna do. Now, this is not necessarily what I would do. This is not what I would do if I was the GM. This is what I think the GMs will do. So again, this is not what I would do. This is what I think the GMs would do. So here's the first ever Sentell mock draft, NFL mock draft. Let's go. At number 1, I have the Browns taking Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC. There has been a lot of chatter lately, some noise that maybe they'll take Josh Allen out of Wyoming, but I don't think the Browns can take that kind of risk. I think they think that Sam Darnold is the least potential bust out of this group of quarterbacks. So I think they take Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC, even though played by a lot of turnovers last season. He's a big, good-looking kid. He can move around. He got a great arm. And before last year's season, I think most of us would have thought that he would have been an overall number 1 pick. So I got the Browns taking Sam Darnold at number 1. At number 2, this is the most this pick here. and now and let me keep this in mind that I have no trades in here, which is obviously going to happen. There are going to be trades. People are going to move in and out of spots. So I don't have any trades included in my mock draft. This is a team state pat, which is probably not going to happen. But at number 2, this pick, because the Giants could go so many ways. And again, I'm picking what I think the Giants are going to do. Now, what I would do if I were the Giants at number 2, I would take Josh Rosen and keep on moving, because you never know when you'll be in a position again to take a quarterback this high. But I don't think they're going to take a quarterback at this spot. They could go a couple ways here. They could go O-line and draft take Quinn Nelson out of Notre Dame. But I can't see him taking a guard at number 2. There's only been a handful of guards taken in the top 5 in NFL history. The highest since 1986 is 7th. So I just can't see them taking him I can't see them taking Quinn Nelson at number 2. Although that is a definite need for them O-line. Because if you can pair Nelson with Nate Solder, that would be a formidable offensive line. But with that being said, I have them taking Bradley Chubb, DN, NC State. He's probably the best pass rusher in the draft. They traded JPP, so it is a need position. I just think Chubb at 2, even though I think more than likely the Giants trade out. But in this draft, I'm not doing trades, so I would put Bradley Chubb at number 2 for the Giants. Bradley Chubb goes to the Giants. At number 3, the Jets have traded from 6 to 3 with the Indianapolis Colts. So more than likely, we all know they're going to take a quarterback. But which one will they take? Who? Which one? To me, again, this is what I think the Jets would do. If it was me, I would probably take Josh Allen right here. But I don't have him taking Josh Allen right here. I have him taking Baker Mayfield, Broadway Baker. The Jets are always trying to get headlines because they are the little brother of the New York Giants. This would be a huge splash. You get the cocky brass Baker Mayfield in the New York City market. You can market him. So I think the Jets take Baker Mayfield at number 3 as the splashy hype pick, although probably not the best football pick, but I see the Jets taking Baker Mayfield at number 3. At number 4, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock again. Now, they could go a whole bunch of ways right here. Saquon Barkley on the board at this point. So that would probably intrigue them a little bit. I don't think they go that route. I don't think they take Saquon Barkley at this route. I think they go cornerback, Denzel Ward, Ohio State product, so he gets to stay close at home. And he's probably the best cover corner in the draft, around 4.3 40 at the combine. Slighter build, a 5'10 guy, but has the potential to grow into one of the best corners in the NFL. That's why I had the Cleveland at 4. At 5, I have the Denver Broncos taking Quentin Nelson, guard, Notre Dame, who I think is the shortest prospect in the draft. Couldn't see him go as high as 2, but I got him going to the Denver Broncos at 5. The Broncos have allowed a league high 52 sacks last year, so they have got to get this offensive line intact. Some people thinking quarterback, but I think if you sign Case Keenum, I don't think you go quarterback right here. Even though he's not the long-term answer, I think short-term, they're looking short-term. Broncos haven't made the playoffs in 2 straight seasons, so which is something that does not happen out in Denver. So short-term, Case Keenum, I think you bring in the guard Quentin Nelson to go along with the Garrett Bowles kid that you drafted last year. So that's a good, formidable left side. Again, they allowed a league leading 52 sacks last year. So I'm sure offensive line is a need position if I ever seen one in that scenario. At number 6, the coach, they could probably trade back out of the position because they have so many needs. Question marks about Andrew Luck. They would have probably got Quentin Nelson if they could, if he was still available on this board. With that, they probably need a good defensive player, linebacker, D tackle, and they could use anybody. They could use a lot of bodies. But in my mock draft, I have him drafting Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker, Virginia Tech. He could play outside linebacker at the Sam or the Will, or he could actually convert into a DN. Right now, he's 6'5", 253, and he ran a 4.5 40. So he has some flexibility, a really good defensive player who can do a lot of different things. You line him up on DN, you can stand up on the outside linebacker. So I got a coach taking him, although they could go several different directions. But I got him taking Tremaine Edwards out of Virginia Tech at number 6. At number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of needs, a lot of things they could do. They could use a cornerback for sure. Not happy with Vernon Hargreaves at the moment. They did sign Brent Grimes back, but they have a lot of things they could go right here. No Muscle Hamster, he's out. So I think they go running back, and Saquon Barkley on the board at 7. But definitely feel a huge need. They get one of the most explosive, dynamic playmakers in the entire draft. They already got the receivers. They got the tight end. We think they have the quarterback of the future. So you put Saquon Barkley with that, mix that in. Hey, should be. I'm sure Bucs fan will be happy. They probably wouldn't mind a cornerback right there either. But Saquon Barkley in my mock draft. At number 8, which I just think this is fitting, Chicago Bears. They get Allen Robinson, they get Taylor Gabriel. They got the quarterback last year, Trubisky. They got a good running back in Jordan Howard. So they got a lot of good things going. They got 2 really good corners. So I think linebacker, Buckets Award winner to the Bears. That fits, right? Shouldn't the Buckets Award winner go to the Bears? So I had the Bears drafting linebacker Roquan Smith out of Georgia, 6'1", 236, ran a 4.5 40. I think he's a prototypical inside linebacker. He is a Bears linebacker. There's Singletary, there's Urlacher, and now there's Roquan Smith, the man in the middle for the monsters of the midway. So Roquan Smith at 8. At number 9, I have – now, this is interesting. The 49ers drafting at number 9. Now, we knew Reuben Foster had some issues, all season, but the day the charges finally came down. So he's charged with 3 felonies. Now, I've already put my mock in. This is what I had. This is locked in. So what happened today does not change that. But can I see the 49ers trying to get a linebacker right here and maybe possibly having to move up to try to get a Roquan Smith or Tremaine Edwards, because we don't know we know that Reuben Foster is going to miss some games. He may even get cut. So if those happen, that's going to completely change the mock draft, completely change the draft strategy for the 49ers. But for this purpose only, in my mock draft, I had the 49ers selected Mika Fitzpatrick from Alabama. He's just a defensive back. No cornerback, no say. He's just a defensive back because he can line up all over the field. Cornerback, safety, nickel, you can play him anyway. He's a willing tackler. He's just a really smart defensive football player. That guy you can just kind of move around. He knows what to do, where to be at. He's going to be where he's supposed to be at. I like this kid at number 9 for the 49ers who need another defensive back. Definitely could use a corner. Like I said, I'm not going to pigeonhole him as a corner, but we could use a corner. So I got Mika Fitzpatrick at number 9. At number 10, I got the Oakland Raiders selecting safety Derwin James from Florida State. Oakland could use some help on the back end. They need a guy like this, an explosive, dynamic playmaker. More to me, now he's more of an in-the-box safety who's really good against the run, more than a off-cover safety. Doesn't really cover all that well, but this guy will come up. He will tackle. He's explosive. Just what the Raiders he would look good in silver and black. This is the kind of athlete that the Raiders should be targeting. So I had the Raiders taking Derwin James at 10. At number 11, the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Giants, I struggle with that pick because I don't know. They should take a quarterback. If it was me, they should take a quarterback. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. But if it was me, I'll take a quarterback. Miami, I don't truly know what they want to do. Do they want to get in this quarterback market? Do they think Tannehill's the guy? I don't know what they want to do at this point. But for this point, in my mock draft, I'm going to give them Vita Vea, the D tackle from Washington, just an absolute dominant run stopper. They have to replace Ndamukong Suh and just get tougher against the run. He's the premier defense tackle in the draft, 340 pounds of just a man. So I think Miami would be happy with Vita Vea at 11, even though they could go a bunch of different ways, quarterback being one of them. But in this mock, I have them taking the D tackle from Washington. At number 12, Buffalo. Although I think Buffalo would trade up for this, but I still think this is happening. I think Buffalo takes a quarterback. I think they take Josh Allen from Wyoming. To me, this is a natural fit. Big, strong kid from out in the cold of Wyoming, which just seems perfect for Buffalo. Upstate New York is cold. This is a big, strong, strapping young man. I think he's not ready to come in and play right away, but I think he has all the physical tools to be really good. So I got Buffalo taking Josh Allen, even though I think this happens way early in the draft. But again, I don't have the trades involved in my draft. There's no trades in this draft. Even though I think there will be trades, I don't have any trades in this draft. So that's why I have Buffalo taking Josh Allen at 12, although I think it would happen earlier in the draft. I think that Josh Allen will go to Buffalo, but earlier in the draft. At 13, Washington Redskins could go a lot of different ways, but they had the worst rush defense in the NFL last year. And you know how you fix the worst rush defense? You either get a tough inside linebacker or you get a big road graded D tackle. So I gave him a road graded D tackle, and that's Deron Payne from Alabama. Just a dominant run stuffing D tackle. He'll slide right into what they need in Washington to kind of help with this defense against the rush. So Washington, Deron Payne, I think he fits the bill right there for them. At 14, the Green Bay Packers could go a bunch of different ways, could improve on the interior of their offensive line, but they definitely need help defensively. They're lacking playmakers in defensive secondary. You really got Clinton Dix is really your only really good player back there. They could use an edge rusher too. They drafted a cornerback last year, so I'm gonna give them a cornerback again this year. So I'm gonna give them Iowa cornerback Josh Jackson. I think his size, he's like 6'1". He could play inside, he could play outside. Just another guy they drafted King last year. So you put him with King, Clinton Dix. Maybe now you're more formidable as a pass defense, but the Packers definitely need to get better defensively. They could do some other things. They could do a receiver. They could fix the interior offensive line, running back. I mean, they could do some things. But I gave him a cornerback in my mock draft. But I wouldn't be surprised if they took a running back or edge rusher right there too. Now, again, no trades involved in my draft. So when you see 15, I got Arizona. I think they're taking a quarterback. Now, whether they trade up early in the draft to get this quarterback, but if they stand pat and this guy happens to fall at 15, they will run to the table and put their card in because I think this is the best quarterback the most pro-ready quarterback. I don't think I got the biggest upside, but I think you can put this guy in right now. Josh Rosen, quarterback UCLA. I'm just a huge fan. I mean, I think people are turned on by his outside activities, other things that he had going on in his life. He's a really bright guy. But I far as just ready to plug and play, I like Josh Rosen a lot. He can throw it, he can sling it. Now he's a little slighter build, so you worry about his durability. But for spinning the football, recognizing coverages, and learning your playbook, he can do that. He can come in and do that in a week. So I got Arizona taking Josh Rosen. At 16, Baltimore Ravens is no surprise. No, I don't think it's earth-shattering news. We know what the needs are. Wide receiver is a huge need. They let Mike Wallace go. The Perriman kid has not worked out. Jerry Maclin is a shell of what he used to be. So I think receiver is definitely a need. So with that, I give him at the 16th pick, receiver Calvin Ridley, Alabama. He's the best receiver probably in this class. It's an obvious need. I've heard rumblings of quarterback, but I think with them signing RG3, they kind of brought some insurance in so that they could push Joe Flacco a little bit because he has not played well. He hasn't played well since the Super Bowl. Let's get that out of here. He has not played well since the Super Bowl. The Ravens, they had a pretty good defense last year, but they offensively challenged. So I think a dynamic playmaker on the outside would definitely be an upgrade for sure. At number 17, I have the LA Chargers. I think they could use help on the offensive line. Running game was not as strong as it should be with the capable backs that you have. The outside is set. Keenan Allen. You drafted Mike Williams last year. You got two really good stud DNs. The cornerbacks are really, really good. So where you go, I think you need to upgrade the offensive line because you got Russell Okung on one side and some other guy on the other right side. So I'm drafting Connor Williams. I think they draft Connor Williams, the offensive tackle of Texas. It's a huge upgrade. It's a position of need. I think Connor can come in, probably start from day one at right tackle, then eventually move to left tackle. So I get the Chargers offensive tackle Connor Williams from Texas. That's what I think they're going to do. Now, again, this is not what I would do. This is what I think the GMs of these teams would do. That's not what I would do. But they definitely have a need at the offensive lineman's position. At number 18, Seattle Seahawks, and they have a ton of needs. No longer on the team is Richard Sherman. Michael Bennett is gone. We don't know what they're going to do with the safety Earl Thomas. But the Legion of Boom days are long foregone. I think they're now going to try to build this team around Russell. So if you're going to build this team around Russell, they already got rid of Jimmy Graham. You look on the outside. You look on the outside. You got Doug Baldwin. You got a little Tyler Lockett on the outside. So if you want to make this about Russell, let's start giving Russell some toys. You could definitely upgrade the offensive line first. So maybe they go O tackle. Maybe they go Isaiah Wynn right here, a guard. Maybe they go Mike McClinchy, Notre Dame, because they could definitely build an offensive line. But for this purpose of this draft, I think they take Courtland Sutton, the receiver from SMU, big 6'4" kid. He's not a blazer, but he's a huge target because I just mentioned Baldwin and Lockett. Those are little miniature short guys. But this guy is a big-time monster again compared to T.O. We shall see. But I like Courtland Sutton with the Seattle Seahawks if this team transition more to Russell Wilson. So give him a toy, give him a weapon, give him something. I don't think no reason. So to build an offensive lineup, you can probably do that later in the draft. So at 18, Seahawks take Courtland Sutton. At number 19, Cowboys could go receiver. Don't know what their Brian status is. They did get Allen Hurns, Deontay Thompson, some middle of the road type receivers. They could go receiver here. I would love to give them Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk would be a good fit right here, but I'm not giving them Christian Kirk. I'm going to go to the defense side of the ball. They really need an up the field D tackle. So I'm going to give them Taven Bryant, D lineman from Florida. Not a big rush stopping D tackle. He's more of an upfield D tackle. Going to put pressure on the quarterback from the inside of the pocket. But he's really good against the run. I would have said Maurice Hurst probably from Michigan, but some medical issues have come up with him. So I give him Taven Bryant from Florida. But again, they could go receiver right here. Some corners, a lot of good corners in this draft. Mike Hughes, Dante Jackson, they could Jair Alexander. They could go corner too as well, but I'll give them a D tackle for the time being. At number 20, I'm giving the Detroit Lions Marcus Davenport, DN from UT San Antonio. I mean, just a freak of an athlete. You put him with Ziggy Ansah on the other side, who's kind of similar to Davenport, and there's a raw edge rusher, size, length, explosiveness, 6'6". He ran a 40 under 4'6", 264 pounds. So just a freak of an athlete. A lot of people have him going a lot earlier than 20. I think he falls. So, and if he falls, Detroit would run up to the podium to pick up Marcus Davenport at 20. At 21, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Rashaan Evans, linebacker, Alabama. I mean, obviously, Vontaze Burfict has been suspended for 4 games. You can't really count on him, if any, at all. So I think they need a big run-stopping inside linebacker. Rashaan Evans fits the bill. Just a solid inside linebacker who you can plug him in, probably play 10 years. It's one of those Alabama linebackers that you can just expect to be really good. They could go interior offensive line. They couldn't run the ball very well at all last year, only 3.6 yards per rush. So they could go inside. Isaiah Wynn, a couple of these guards they could take. But for now, I'm going to give them Rashaan Evans, linebacker, Alabama. That's 21. At number 22, at 22, the Buffalo Bills again. Now, they took my first pick. They took Josh Allen, the quarterback from Wyoming. I think you should try to show up your offensive line at this point. They have Gordy Glenn at left tackle. I think you should draft another tackle to protect your young quarterback. So I give him Mike McGlinchey, tackle, Notre Dame. I think you put him at the right side to go along with Glenn on your left side. And that's a formidable offensive line to go with your young quarterback. So I give Buffalo the tackle from Notre Dame, Mike McGlinchey, at 22. This again, it's what I think they would do. Not what I personally would do. What I think the team would do, not what I would do. At number 23, New England Patriots. Just a tough team to read. You never know exactly what they're going to do. They haven't picked in the first round a lot. Actually, their last 2 times with a first round pick, they took a defensive tackle. I look at them and I think about the Super Bowl, other than cornerback, which they couldn't cover. But the one thing I know for a fact that they're missing is an edge rusher. They could not even get close to Nick Foles. He was very comfortable in the pocket all night long. And one thing you can do to help your cornerback and your safeties is a good pass rush. So for me, I'm giving them Arden Key, DN, LSU. Before this season, this guy probably been a top 10, 15 draft pick. Had some off-the-field stuff go on during the season, so never really kind of got back to the player he was the previous season. But this is a dynamic guy who can probably be an outside linebacker, rush in. So Arden Key to the Patriots. Again, it's tough to know what the Patriots are going to do. They got a lot of needs. They can go offensive line because they got to place Nate Solder. They could go cornerback because, like I said, it's a plethora of cornerbacks in this draft. They could go corner. They could go running back. because they don't really have a running back right now. So a lot of things could happen. At number 24, Carolina Panthers. Now they could go cornerback because they did lose one of their better Worley, I think it was, to Philly in a trade. They tried to sign Rashawn Breeland. It got denied because he didn't pass a physical. So they could definitely go cornerback. They could go offensive line here, but a team that is void of playmakers. They are void of playmakers. So with that, I think the Panthers will select Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Texas A&M. You get Christian McCaffrey last year, you get Kirk this year. So now you're starting to get some more dynamic type playmakers instead of some, they could go tight end here also. Greg Olsen getting a little long in the tooth, and he has some outside influences. So they could go tight end right here. But for this sake of this draft, I'm giving them Christian Kirk at 24. At 25, Tennessee Titans. Could go a lot of ways, but they picked up Malcolm Butler in the free agency. So you got a Dory, you got Malcolm Butler. So you got your corners in play. They got some really good safeties. Linebacker, they could use they probably could upgrade the inside linebacker position. Offensively, I like what they're doing. They drafted Davis last year, so you got some really decent receivers. I don't think they go receiver right here. For me, I think they can use a DN, another pass rusher to get after the quarterback. And then right here, I have them taking Harold Landry out of Boston College. And if you remember Boston, a couple years ago, Harold Landry had 15 and a half sacks. Didn't have quite as good a season this year. Kind of fell off a little bit, kind of injured. So we don't really know if it's more injury or a decline in his play. But at 25, I have Harold Landry, Boston College DN, going to the Tennessee Titans. At 26, Atlanta Falcons, they lost Dontari Poe, and they really haven't had they got Grady Jarrett, who's more of a run stopper. They kind of need more of an inside D tackle who can get up the field and create some pressure in passing situations as well. So at 26, I haven't selected Maurice Hurst. I mentioned Hurst earlier, has some medical things. So could he be here? Could he slide even further? I think Atlanta would draft him at 26. So Hurst, D tackle, Michigan, goes to the Falcons at 26. At 27, the New Orleans Saints. Hey, we know about Kamara. We know about Ingram. We know about Michael Thomas. Defensively, they got a lot better last year. A lot better. I think they need somebody on the offensive side of the ball that can control the middle of the field, that can help Drew Brees out, that could be a go-to guy for Drew Brees. So the 27th pick, first tight end off the board, Hayden Hurst, University of South Carolina tight end. I think he's simply the best tight end in the class. A lot of good tight ends in the class, but a lot of them only could be more of receiving type tight end. I think Hurst can actually do some blocking. Not that you're going to ask him to block all the time. Obviously, he can split out and run your whole route tree. I think he's the best tight end in the draft. So I have Hayden Hurst going to the Saints at 27. At number 28, Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm the Steelers all defense, right? I mean, they could go corner here to help their secondary out. They could go D-line, but I'm going to focus primarily on linebacker. I mean, with the injury to Ryan Shazier, the uncertainty about him, I think you have to get your inside linebacker right here. So with that, I have him drafting Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker, Boise State. Really solid linebacker, sideline to sideline, really athletic kid. Not gonna call him Luke Kuechly by no means, but he's very favorable to a Luke Kuechly. I'm a poor man, Luke Kuechly. He could do some things. So I have him getting Leighton Vander Esch. Again, they could definitely go cornerback and safety, and there's a ton of cornerbacks in this draft that you could see going in the first round. But for that purpose only, I got him taking Leighton Vander Esch. At number 29, the AFC Runner up, Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a good position to be in if you're Jacksonville. I mean, you're not drafting needs right now. This is more of you adding on to what you already have. They signed up Marquise Lee. Um, you got the running back Leonard Fournette. You got your quarterback locked up. Um, you got you picked the guard up in the off season. So a lot of good things going for Jacksonville. You don't really have a lot of needs. And when you pick down here, you typically don't have a lot of needs. So you could do a lot of things. You could do some things. But for this draft purposes, I'm going to give them Colton Miller. He's an offensive tackle at UCLA. I think they just need some depth on the offensive line. And maybe he can go slide to right tackle. If you need him to go play left tackle, he could probably play left tackle, but not right away. You don't really need him to play right away. I think a swing tackle kind of give you some depth on the offensive line. They could also go tight end because they don't really have a dominant tight end. They did get rid of Mercedes Lewis. They did pick up Austin Safarian Jenkins, but you still could go tight end right there. They could probably go corner, nickel corner maybe. I'm not gonna give them a receiver right here. I think they kind of happy with the receiving core they have, so I'll give them an offensive tackle because that just builds depth. Or maybe you go D line to build depth, but I'll give them an offensive tackle. At number 30, Minnesota. Again, another one of those teams but they did add Kirk Cousins in the offseason, which is a huge pickup. Defensively, I think it's pretty set. They could probably use another corner to kind of replace Terrence Newman. And it's a deep draft at the corner position, so they could go corner right here. Running back to replace Jared McKinnon, and it's a ton of good running backs out there. But for this purpose, I want to get somebody to protect Kirk Cousins, so I'm going to give him offensive guard or tackle. Isaiah Wynn from Georgia. I think he's more of a guard in the NFL, but he played tackle in college, so I think they try to show up the offensive line with Isaiah Wynn, the guard from Georgia. So that's number 30. At 31, the New England Patriots are back on the clock. Again, I don't know. Again, it's a lot of corners out there. They could take a corner. They could take a running back right here. But for me, I think this is where they try and replace Nate Solder. I think they take big offensive tackle Orlando Brown, Oklahoma. Just a big physical specimen of a man, but had a terrible combine. And I think a lot of teams would be scared off by his combine, even though he's like 6'7", and just a big, massive human being. I think New England could get the best out of him. I think Belichick would probably get his work ethic up. So I have taken Orlando Brown at 31. At number 32, last but not least, the defending, reigning, current Super Bowl champions. I had to feel that they could do a lot of things, but what the last, just like the Patriots couldn't get to the quarterback in the Super Bowl, the Eagles couldn't cover. So they lose Robinson, one of the corners they already had. They lose Patrick Robinson. I like Mills, like Darby, but I think they could use another corner. And I think one of the most gifted corners in the draft, I give them Isaiah Oliver, cornerback, Colorado. So a nice physical corner. Got good size. Could play inside. Could play outside. May turn to the best corner in the. Could probably turn to the best corner in the whole draft. If you haven't saw him play much, just a really good player. So I gave him. I think they drafted Isaiah Oliver, cornerback, Colorado. So that is my first ever mock draft. Read them and weep. I'm not gonna go back over them. If you have any comments, you want to call in, ask, and see where I did take certain people, you can. Phone lines are now open, 864-378-5943. If you want to talk NBA playoffs or you want to talk about draft that I just did, what you think your team is going to do. Also, let me mention again that the third annual Fantasy Fan Mock Draft that presented by Kiwi Dennis on Facebook will be April the 24th. Typically, we don't have enough fans to fill out the teams, but we're hoping to get everybody team represented by the fan, and basically all you do is you draft in the order of the draft as a fan. You write a brief statement of why you took so-and-so, what you're going to get from so-and-so, blah, 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 then on to the next one. So if you're interested in that, inbox me or Kiwi Dennis, or somebody in that closed group, and we can get you involved in that, because that'll be April 24th, 2 days before the draft, and we'll do our fantasy mock draft right there on Facebook. But if you have any, I have a few minutes left in the show. If you want to call in, talk about the NBA playoff, which matchups intrigue you the most, I said the Warriors and Spurs are the most intriguing matchup, because I just want to see the Warriors, how they play without Steph Curry. They have not looked very good without Steph Curry. They have lost 10 of the last 17 games. Durant looks like he's kind of wilting up under the pressure of having to carry that load. Again, I've always thought of him as a cold star, not the main attraction. He's really good when he has somebody ride shotgun with him. He can kind of hide off a little bit. But when you have to put that pressure on him and put him out there by himself, he's not surviving very well. 864-378-5943, 864-378-5943. You know what it is. Sentell, the hottest sports podcast in the South. The best damn sports podcast, period. Just finished up my first mock draft ever. So if you guys want to discuss some of the things you heard in the mock draft, if you want to call in, comment about what you think your team would do, go ahead. Lines are open, so I want to hear from you guys. If you want to comment, you can right there on the comment screen. Also, NBA playoffs starting Saturday. So, hey, April. Spring games. Some spring games this weekend, including Florida Gators spring game on Saturday at 3:00. So some spring games coming this weekend. I think Clemson's on it. Clemson plays at 12. So a lot of excitement this week with the spring game. Obviously, anytime you can get some football, it's a good week. And then the draft will be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from the night, the actual draft. And I'll be here an hour before the draft, just kind of previewing the draft. I have some guests. We'll talk about the draft, what we think teams are going to do, and what they won't do. So tune in for that. I will return in the meantime Monday. I can be back Monday night. Probably 7:00 though. Monday 7, because I know there's some NBA playoff games will be starting up at that time, so definitely don't want to conflict with the playoff schedule. So next Monday. But until the meantime, I got a few more minutes left. Bouncer alone. I give my top 5. I give my top 10. I'll do my top 10 again. Just run through them real quick. Won't do a lot of explanation on them. Just run through them real quick. Number 1, I had the Browns taking Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC. At number 2, I had the Giants taking Bradley Chubb, DN, NC State. At number 3, I had the Jets taking Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Oklahoma. At number 4, I had the Cleveland Browns selecting Denzel Ward, cornerback, Ohio State. At number 5, I had the Denver Broncos selecting Quentin Nelson, guard, Notre Dame. At number 6, I had the Colts taking Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker, Virginia Tech. At number 7, I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State. At number 8, I had the Chicago Bears taking Roquan Smith, linebacker, Georgia. At number 9, I had the 49ers selecting Minkah Fitzpatrick, DB, Alabama. And at number 10, I had the Oakland Raiders selecting safety, Derwin James, Florida State. So that is my top 10 on my mock draft. To hear the rest of it, you have to watch the show back. To hear the rest of it. Again, be sure to join and contact me or Kiwi Dennis if you're interested in being in that fantasy mock draft. This will be the 3rd year we've done it. Always a fun day to put on the GM hat. You can play GM for a whole day and do what you want. It's fantasy. But as long as you follow the draft order, you can't just pick. You got to pick according to the draft order. If the person you want to draft is taken before, you still can't pick him. So you got to change up your write-up and all that other good stuff. So that happens April 24th, 2 days before the Tuesday, 2 days before the NFL draft. So that's where we at. Lines open if you want to call in before I get out of here. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. 378-5943. Again, if you want to get in before I leave, that is the number. We basically covered the gamut. Hey, this is more of a about my mock draft. I mean, it's about my mock draft. Hey, what the show was about, my mock draft. That's what it was about. And the NBA playoffs started preview. I ain't picked no champions or anything like that for the NBA. I just can't. I'm gonna sit back and watch. I think it's gonna be really, really interesting to see, especially Western Conference. You're talking about some really good games. There are gonna be some really good games in the Western Conference playoffs. These teams from 2 all the way to 7. I mean, that's not a whole lot of separation at all from those teams. So look forward to that. Now, some could say that the Western Conference is tougher because the teams, have basically the same records from about 3 to about 8. But if the Eastern Conference want to make a claim being the best conference, they can say, well, we have 4 teams with 50 wins over here, and the West only has 2 teams with 50 wins. So, is that because the West so stacked, or the East that bad? Because, other than the Rockets, that's not a lot. The Warriors separated early with Steph Curry, but other than that, that's not a whole lot of separation between from 2. Again, from 3 to 8, that's not a whole lot of separation in the Western Conference. A few more minutes. I got a few more minutes. Hanging on for a few more minutes. Hanging on. Thank y'all for watching. If you watched tonight, tune in. Sentell. So yeah, got about a minute or so. Hanging on to those lines. Got those lines open. So if you want to call in, definitely call in before I get out of here. If not, I'll either see you. I'll probably see you guys Monday, but I will make sure I'll announce it before, because I know the NBA playoffs will be going strong. So definitely don't want to get in the middle of the NBA playoffs because again, it's must see TV. But if I'm not back before then, I'll be back the day of the NFL draft, about an hour before the actual draft. Kind of give you my insight, what teams are thinking, and we'll go from there. A few more minutes, another minute. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. Maybe get a phone call before we get out of here. If not, we'll see you guys next week. All right. Well, don't look like we're going to get a phone call. Anyone want to call? Lines open. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. Question about my mock draft. What you think your team's going to do? NBA playoffs. We want to talk about that. We talked about that earlier. I did my mock draft, so I'm not going to stay here too much longer. Anybody want to comment? You want a phone call before I get out of here? You know the number, 864-378-5943, 378-5943. Not, I'm going to hang on about another half a minute, and then I'm getting out of here. Again, I'll repeat my top 10 in my mock draft. I'm not doing the whole thing. You got to watch the show back to see the whole thing. I'll repeat this. You want me to go through the whole mock draft? All right, man. Just for you, man. I go through the whole mock draft. I ain't doing no breakdown. I did all the breakdown earlier. I'll just go right through them, 1 through 32. At number 1, I had the Browns taking Sam Darnold. At number 2, I have the Giants taking, again, no trades. I have no trades in this, so this is what I think the GMs will do, not what I personally would do. And no trades are involved, so this is if everybody stood pat, which is not going to happen. At number 2, I had the Giants taking Bradley Chubb. At number 3, I had the Jets taking Baker Mayfield. At number 4, I had the Browns taking Denzel Ward, cornerback, Ohio State. At number 5, I have Denver selecting Quentin Nelson, guard, Notre Dame. At number 6, I had the Colts selecting Jermaine Edwards, linebacker, Virginia Tech. At number 7, I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting running back Saquon Barkley, Penn State. At number 8, I had the Bears selecting Roquan Smith, linebacker, Georgia. At number 9, I had the 49ers selecting Micah Fitzpatrick, DB, Alabama. At number 10, I have Oakland selecting Derwin James, safety from Florida State. At number 11, I have Miami selecting Vita V, D tackle, Washington. At number 12, I had the Buffalo Bills selecting Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming. At number 13, I had the Washington Redskins selecting Deron Payne, D tackle, Alabama. At number 14, I have the Green Bay Packers selecting Josh Jackson, quarterback, Iowa. At 15, I have Arizona selecting quarterback Josh Rosen, UCLA. At number 16, I have the Ravens selecting receiver Calvin Ridley, Alabama. At number 17, I have the Chargers selecting Connor Williams, tackle from Texas. At 18, I had the Seahawks selecting Cortland Sutton, receiver, SMU. At number 19, I had the Dallas Cowboys selecting Taven Bryan, D lineman from Florida. At number 20, I had the Detroit Lions selecting Marcus Davenport, DN, UT San Antonio. At number 21, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Rashaan Evans, linebacker, Alabama. At number 22, I have Buffalo selecting tackle Mike McClinchy, tackle Notre Dame. At number 23, I have New England Patriots selecting Arden Key, DN, LSU. At number 24, I had the Carolina Panthers selecting Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Texas A&M. At number 25, I had the Tennessee Titans selecting Harold Landry, DN, Boston College. At number 26, I had Atlanta Falcons selecting Maurice Hurst, D tackle, Michigan. At number 27, I have the Saints selecting Hayden Hurst, tight end, South Carolina. At number 28, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker, Boise State. At number 29, I have Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Colton Miller, offensive tackle, UCLA. At number 30, I have Minnesota selecting Isaiah Wynn, guard / tackle from Georgia. At number 31, I have the New England Patriots selecting Orlando Brown, tackle, Oklahoma. And at number 32, I have the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending, reigning, current Super Bowl champion, selecting Isaiah Oliver, cornerback, Colorado. So that is my mock draft. Again, in its entirety. There it is, reading week. I'll stay for another minute. Anyone want to call in? You want to comment about the mock draft, about the NBA playoff bracket? Internet on the table, 864-378-5943, 864-378-5943. If not, I'll probably be back next Monday. 7 o'clock. If I'll be back next Monday. If not, if anything changes, I will let you know before then. So thank you again for watching and tuning in. Those of you who tuned in, if not, catch the show later. It'll be on YouTube. I will post that as soon as it is uploaded, so you can catch it. If you didn't watch it live, you can catch it on YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, I want you not only to watch it, but also subscribe to the channel, people. Well, that was eventful. That was my first ever mock draft, so that was fun. But I will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to the best damn sports podcast, period, to the hottest sports podcast in the South. I'm your host, the sensational Sentell Whiteman. This has been Sentell's Intel live on Facebook. I will see you people next week. I am out.